so much work. Exhausting. I just want to take a nap. Okay. I tried to get back on the other one. Remember I was having wicked computer problems? And I talked to Apple and they fixed the computer and all that. Well, my computer hasn't been shut off and on since then or lost battery. So it was weird. It was asking me all these things again. And then I had to go in. I didn't have to re-download Chrome or anything. Safari doesn't support YouTube to go live on an Apple phone, which is so fucked up because Apple and Safari go hand in hand. But for some reason, to go live on YouTube, you have to use Google. So, I don't know. Major fucking pain in the ass, if you ask me. Because it still says I'm freaking live. I love it when I'm on my phone and I get off of my phone and something happens. It gives me the option to restart the live or to start a new feed. Apparently, the computer does not do that. So, anywhoosie. There's a lot of things going on with electronics right now, but Mercury always does that too. So, gosh, we were on the phone for almost 2 hours. Okay, so that one just finally finished. So it shouldn't actually even be live anymore, that particular one. It's not. Okay. All right, so I still managed to fix it. Now I want to talk about the other story. I mean, I knew we were still talking about that story. That was wrapped up, right? Hey, are you coming here for lunch today? Or do you want me to bring the chili to your place? Because I was going to go to your place for lunch. Is there a certain time you have lunch? Because I'll work around you and I can pick you up something. And then me, you, and Lonnie can eat together. Oh, sure, if you want. I was just going to come after work, but you can. Yeah, eating at Hilltop or something. What? You want me to meet you at a restaurant? You want me to put fucking clothes on and meet you at a restaurant? What is she talking about? Let me just clear this up real quick. I had no idea we even had plans. I'm not sure if you want. I was just going to come after work, but you can. I was just going to come after work. I was going to go to the mall on break, I think, with Amanda. But I don't have to. I just thought you were going to drop off the chili. I'm out at 4 today, so I was going to come after work. Okay. Well, I have to cook dinner because I have it all planned out. So you can absolutely come. You just have to hang out with me in the kitchen. I don't mind if you go to the mall. Who goes to the mall during the lunchtime? Who does that? My daughter does, apparently. Okay, so you're gonna come home to lunch or you want me to drop off the chili at your work? So fucking confused. This didn't need to be this confusing. Give me 1 second, guys. I probably should just drop it off at her work. Yeah, I just wanted chili. Here. Okay. Okay, so when I'm done with YouTube and I head over there, I'll give you a heads up on when I leave the house so you can come and get the chili. Okay, solved that. Okay. These kids, man. These children. She's not far from here, though, so it's not a big deal. Okay, thank you. Is there chips? Sour cream? Saltines? All the above. Which ones do you want? Tortitos. All right. I got you. You're in like Flynn. She's gonna smile. She's been going ghetto on me the last couple days. She said something and I was like, word. It's so funny, like me and her will go back and forth like that here and there. Hey, we make each other smile. We make each other smile. All right. All right, so I want to talk about this story. I feel like I got to put a timer on. Yeah, I avoid the mall too. I like to shop, but I'd rather shop at like a nursery or something. I don't know. Or Amazon. Something like that. Not the mall. All right. So I'm going to go on YouTube. I'm not going to stand on the live. I just want to see what the name of that read was. Something about a gift. Was it Mercury at its finest? I think that was it, right? Everything I did for him, and no matter what, it was never good enough. He was super manipulative. He didn't care about my feelings. He wouldn't make me promises, but he made me promises to the moon and the skies. These fucking commercials. What is this one for? A live psychic reading. Oh, what a way to suck those fucking suckers right in. Shoop. Fucking people, man. You're about to overcome sorrow. That's a really good read. You should probably go back and watch that read. All I'm doing is skipping a little bit and a little bit. But I just want to know. I don't think that was the read. Oh. An older wish you can't quite see yet. And then I did next 7 days Mercury at its finest. But that was kind of like encouraging. It was softer energy. So Oh, yeah, they fucking get you that way. So I want to talk about the wish. And not like a wish per se. We're all getting a wish, but it was the gift. Ended up turning into a wish, right? But it has nothing to do with that, what I'm going to talk about. It was within the read where I was talking about softer energy, being more gentle, and I didn't know how to break things down to you. It was that particular read. Hold on. Oh my gosh. Finny Finn, I'm home. I'm home, Finny. I'm downstairs. If you want to come downstairs. Finn Finn? You want to come downstairs? Hi. Yeah. You don't have to be by yourself. Did you not know I was home? Did you not know I was home? Okay. Finn was up there barking like crazy. He didn't know I was home. So, I got you sitting on towels. I'm so sorry. It's crooked. Come on, chill out. Ooh. Ooh. You know what I got in here? A little piece of bagel twist. Have you guys tried this yet? First time ever. I'll probably get yelled at for that. They're so good. It's called a bagel twist at Dunkies. They're like cheddar. It's like lighter than a bagel. It's just really good. It's just really good. Okay. You good? Lay down. All right, you guys ready for this crazy story? What are we, 13 minutes in? I just want to timestamp that. You're welcome. Maybe an hour. All right. Put my phone away. I'm getting distracted. All right. So for those of you who are just turning in, okay, I want to timestamp it. I was just talking about a previous read called, I don't know, something about a wish, the wish coming true, okay? This was a few videos back, all right? I'm just talking for everybody else that's just turning in, asshole. Okay? Just trying to fucking help everybody else out. But I love the sarcasm. But I'll pretend like I'm talking to you now and not the ones that are just tuning in a couple hours from now. Okay? So, anywho, few reads back, okay? Fuck, man. Now I'm going to show you what it looks like just to be an asshole. Just so you're all real clear on which read I'm talking about. But I do love the sarcasm. It's this one that looks like, says fragile. Okay? All right. That read. We're using the deck of cards. All right? Wise ass. Using a deck of cards. And the gift came out. And I was, throughout that entire read, I was trying to explain to you, like, something needed to be delicate, right? Like, something needed to be dainty. I got Finn right here. Look at, I just real cute. Look at. I keep getting distracted. Okay. Oh my god. So he's so cute. Um, and I could not explain the damn energy. And I kept saying it's freaking dainty. I don't know how to explain it. Why would you want us to put ourselves in certain situations? Like, the women needed to be a little more compassionate. It was very gentle energy. So, oh, don't you start licking. I might have to put him upstairs. Okay. So, I just said, try to be a little more compassionate. Again, couldn't really explain the dangerousness. You guys are gonna fucking kill me right now, right? I'm ready to fucking shoot myself. And now the little motherfucker wants to go upstairs. Fuck, man. Yeah. See you later, Gator. So, I'm gonna tell you this story. So I was talking to a friend, and in the beginning of that read, I started telling you about the beginning of my weekends and how I ended up ending up at a different place at the end of the night with not even having like the intentions to go somewhere else. I just knew I was with the ladies that night, boyfriends, people around, and I knew it was chaos. I knew the energy was off. I just wanted to go home. So it was like by like 8:30, I'm like, I'm out. I had already seen like people's energy shift without them even knowing shit was shifting, you know? And it already had like a odd fucking day. I was already upset, bent out of shape about things, you know? So I really was totally good going home and chilling and doing nothing. I ended up hitting somebody else up. I was like, what are you doing? I knew what he was doing, but like, what are you doing afterwards? I literally said, anybody home? You mind if I go to the house? Like, I know where the spare key is, right? Like, didn't want to drive all the way home, didn't want to be home, didn't want to be out, but didn't really have intentions on going there. Anywho, the next thing I know, he's like, why don't you meet me? We'll go here, we'll do that. He's like, you want to go out with us? And I was like, absolutely. Which is odd because 20 minutes prior, I was just like, oh, fuck this shit, you know? So we ended up having a blast, right? It was one of the best moves I could have made. But then I was talking to my friend the next day, a couple of them in a group message, and what a fucking shitstorm. And a couple of them were like, I wish I listened to you. Like, and we didn't do this and we didn't do that. But we had already had prior plans, and the concert, the Dirt concert got canceled and just different things, right? So it was just one of those fucking days. Everybody just had a little bit of lack of patience. I can't really explain it. There wasn't like much understanding. So anyhow, I'm talking. I'm not gonna tell you like which friends. I said, how'd your night go? Okay. And this does correlate with the sensitivity I'm about to get to. Okay. But I gotta play out the story because this for real is Mercury at its fucking finest when people lose their fucking shit. All right. So she's like, you got to talk to her about it. And I knew when she said, you got to talk to her about it, it was more like something big went down and it wasn't her place to kind of tell the story. So I was like, oh shit. So I texted, yada, yada. Everything okay? Heard something went down, but I didn't know the story. She's like, yeah, I tried texting you or calling you. So I was like, all right. I waited a couple days. I didn't wait intentionally a couple days. Like our schedules were just off. I was like, I'll call you. And I got swamped. And then the next day I was like, oh, fuck. I didn't call her. I hit her up. I'm like, I know it's 9 o'clock. I'm so sorry. It's like 9 o'clock at night. I'm so sorry. You want me to call you? She's like, just settling down to watch a movie. Call me in the morning. I was like, okay. I already knew the energy was off, but I was definitely going to listen because I knew something had went down. So I was talking to her the next day on the way to work, had a half hour, probably could have took forever, had a half hour, and she starts telling me the story. She smacked, okay. Girlfriend chucked her beer at her boyfriend and then got up and smacked him in the face with other people around, lost her shit. Okay. Now I'm thinking, I'm so glad I wasn't there for that. That's awkward as fuck. I knew something was going to go down. She doesn't do shit like that. Okay. What was said, his words were, you're fake. He called her fake. Like under his breath, he was saying shit. And everyone's drinking, right? And he whispered something about glass houses and then called her fake. She chucked her beer, straight up smacked him. You can only imagine how shit went down from there. So I'm more shocked that she did that. Like that side of her came out like, oh my God, what was his reaction? Like, what was your reaction? How are you guys now? So we're talking about it. And where her head went, this is what's important. Never mind Mercury, and she shouldn't have put her hands on him or nothing like that. But she's been warning people, which is not justified, okay? But she's been saying, like, the devil's about to come out. She's been losing her shit, not getting proper support. It escalated, right? And this chick left high school because she was a scrapper, right? Like, that's how she handled pain, was through scrapping. And I mean, anger management used to knock on her door. That's just how she handled pain. Well, she hasn't done that forever. So it brought back shit from childhood. I mean, where her brain went was not the average, like, you motherfucker, I'm smacking you. Which this is where it blows my mind. Because I was like, how do you feel about that? Like, what was going on in your head right then? And she's like, well, if he thinks I'm fake, then our whole relationship has been based on lies, no trust, no loyalty. Like, why are you even my fucking girlfriend? Right? And I just was like, that's where your mind went? Like, I don't think my mind would have went there. I don't know. Oh yeah, sorry, scrapping is fighting. Sorry. I don't know if my mind would have went there per se, right? But it's Mercury. And again, she hasn't put her hands on nobody ever since she like recovered from certain shit, right? So my brain would have been like, you motherfucker, you think I'm fake? Like, I would have been like, fuck you. I don't want to be with you, blah, 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 blah. I don't think my mind would have been, okay, so why am I your girlfriend? You can't trust me. We have issues. You think I'm fake. So you've been having this whole persona. You've been playing this character. You've been there for me and the kids. I don't think my brain would have went there. You know what I'm saying? But hers did. I mean, eventually my brain might have went there. but probably not instantly, right? So that's what kind of blew my mind a little bit. And it brought her back. And again, Mercury, right? Prime example where shit catches up to you because shit's not addressed and you fucking lose your shit. Should she have put her hands on him? Fucking hands down, absolutely not. Not even a question. Like forgivable, but completely unnecessary. And she's aware of that, right? So I'm not going to justify her being like, well, I warned people. Like, no, you don't do it. It's that simple. Um, but I get it. So now at this point, she's explaining to me how she feels. And I said, and it reminded me of the read. And she's like, well, what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to handle this? Because I'm like, well, where you at now? When it's days later, like, where you at now? Not so great. Trying to talk about it, not really talking about it. I said, here's the thing. I said, I can't speak for him per se, but it drew me to my read. And I said, it probably has something to do with trust or childhood trauma, something that dug up for him. She's like, he's like, I didn't know I even said it, blah, 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 blah. Mind you, he's drinking. People say what they feel when they drink, whether it comes from a conscious space or a subconscious space, meaning you're very aware of what you're saying and you own it, or the next day it comes from the subconscious. So you're like, I don't remember saying it, but it's still a feeling. It's still said, whether it's conscious or subconscious. You know what I mean? So for him, it was truly subconscious. He wasn't aware, you know? For her, it was conscious because it brought her back way back, like with the high school shit and scrapping. You know what I'm saying? So for her, it was very real and very conscious. For him, it was very subconscious. Didn't even realize he said it like that. So I said, let's break it down. It's probably a trust issue, right? She's like, yeah, about what? I said, but listen, it's his own insecurities. It's not feeling secure. It's and 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 in a way, you know, he doesn't think your relationship is fake. He doesn't think you're fake. He just doesn't know if this is what he wants, or he just doesn't know if this is solid enough. He just doesn't know if it's going to go this way or it's going to go that way because it's fucking Mercury, guys, right? So I'm trying to explain to her it's coming from a subconscious level of something that went down, drinking or not. It is still pain somewhere that lies deep within him as well, right? And there is trust issues and there is things and there is jealousy and there's all this stuff. And I said, you're basically gonna have to like talk to him. She's like, well, what do I say? And this is what I said. All I know is that you have to take a different approach. She's like, well, what's that mean? Because now she's like, well, he doesn't trust me. Why do I want to be with him? Blah, 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 blah. And I said, I get what you're saying. And I get where you went. But if you got love for him, you have to see a certain side of the story. And again, that's where the read comes in, right? And it's like you need to be a little bit more calmer, gentler. It needs to be discussed. It doesn't need to be discussed all at one time, but it needs to be discussed. Obviously, clearly, there's trust issues. Clearly, he has insecurities. Clearly, he doesn't feel good enough. Clearly, right? He clearly thinks, am I good enough? So it's not like, oh, we're in a fake relationship because it's real. But in his head and in his heart, he can't figure it out, right? So it's like, is this fake? Is it real? Is it happening? Is this going to last? Is it not going to last? You know, so there's all these things. So I'm like, listen, all I know is that you got to take a different approach. It stems from something he's probably not really aware of because hers, again, was very conscious. She was very aware of where her feelings took her. And him, he was very unaware of where his feelings were taking him. See what I'm saying? So that's where I really feel like the sensitivity and the compassion and what spirit was asking from the women kick in. And remember, it was the women having to change their perspective with the hangman, the hermit, all that things. Like that's what spirit's talking about. You have to take a different approach. It needs to be gentler. And that's when I was on YouTube and I couldn't really explain to you where that energy was or how to explain to it. Why? Because we hadn't experienced it yet. And now a lot of people are experiencing this energy. Are you going to take the approach of being a hard ass and telling someone to fuck off? Or you're going to take it down a notch and have compassion for somebody that's clearly going through something, but yet doesn't know how to explain it. And as I'm saying this actually makes sense in my own scenario when I didn't even pick up on that the other day, but I knew it was linked to the read. So that's how I know you guys can relate to this with certain stuff because I didn't even relate to my scenario when she was explaining the story, but yet I didn't know about my scenario yet then. Okay. So if this hasn't happened to you and you usually mesh with my energy, it's probably going to happen. Okay. So that's where that sensitivity comes in. That's where that compassion comes in. How much can you handle doing that? I don't know. I don't know. How long can you follow through with that? I don't know. How long are you willing to take a leap of faith? How long are you willing to risk something? I don't know because I feel like that's kind of like where we're all at, right? So they have to have their conversations, they have to have their talk. I do know I took a very different approach when it came to something I was dealing with because I can't give someone shit when they're going through some major shit. It's just not cool, right? So things are now hitting me too, but you can't coddle the energy. You can't justify the energy. But you can be there for somebody if you need to be. And if something needs to be addressed, it needs to be addressed, but it needs to be addressed a different way. And I think we're all in the middle of that right now with Mercury, not knowing, left and right and up and down right now with the scenarios that is going on. Because right now, instead of being pissed off, like, oh, you think I'm fucking fake? Instead of taking it so personally, and trust me, you're gonna take it personally, right? It's personal. But it was very subconscious. And I'm not justifying that, but it is an issue. It is something that's going to need to be addressed because if it's not addressed now, or at least talked about it a little bit, like if you got to open the door a little bit, because if you're quiet about it, it's just going to come back around in 6 months. And then it might end up in another argument and be like, why did I just waste my time for 6 months? Well, you didn't really waste your time for 6 months. It's just you didn't take advantage of the opportunity to talk about it when it was presented to you. That's where people make mistakes. That's why it's hard for people to be with me sometimes because I will call you out on that shit when I see it. Whether they can comprehend it or not. And I don't mean that in a way that someone's stupid. It's just you're either in the headspace where you can comprehend that or you can't. You know what I'm saying? And when somebody's looking in from the other side and you already kind of know the dynamics and they haven't been picking up on shit, chances are of them comprehending what you're saying right then is not really going to go down, right? So I think it's smart to go back and watch that video. I might want to do that myself because and I believe the video after that too because it was gentler energy. And it's the prime example of what's going down consciously and subconsciously. And even subconscious shit needs to be addressed, whether you're drunk or not. It eventually needs to be held accountable for your shit, So it makes so much sense that in my reads and Patreon and YouTube, it was the women having to change the perspective and be a little more delicate about a situation, right? And I couldn't, for the life of me, explain that to you. If you go back and watch that video, you're gonna I really couldn't. Like I kept saying this is delicate, but I don't understand why it's delicate. It was only like 3 or 4 videos back. And I literally kept saying to you, there's just something very delicate about this and I don't know what it is. I think that and it's delicate because people are internally battling without knowing how to express to you, and it's probably frustrating for one person and frustrating on the other end for the other person. So instead of getting frustrated, you're probably better off just taking it back a notch and being a little more open and compassionate in a different approach. And it's ironic because I did a different approach with somebody else the other day, and it was out of the blue, and it wasn't what it for me, it was, "Okay, I have to put us aside right now and see you through something because clearly something's happening," right? And I didn't even know shit that was going down that's going down. I see shit in my reads, right? But I didn't really know what was going down because I'm dealing with somebody who's not just gonna come out and be like, "This just happened." You know what I'm saying? It's not like, "Guess what just happened to me?" It's I'm not dealing with that scenario, right? I didn't even realize the extent of something that was going down, even though I can see the extent of it in my reads. But it's more personal now when it's happening to someone I love that's going through something so personal. It's extremely fragile. And I actually labeled that video fragile, pack like handle with care. But within that read, I couldn't understand. I couldn't tell you what it meant. And when I was talking to my friend the other day, I'm like, I'm going to use this example on YouTube because this is exactly what that is without what that's exactly what it is without being able to see it in the cards or something. You know what I mean? That's what that is. So it's not, it's disbelief that she chucked a beer and threw him in the face. I can't justify what she did, you know, and she can't take it back. And he can't take it back what he said, even though it was a very subconscious thing for him because he hasn't addressed it yet. But the issues are there. The insecurities are there. The trust issues are there. You can't just sweep them under the rug during Mercury. Mark my words. If you do that and you don't address shit in 6 months, you're going to be like, I can't believe I wasted my fucking time. Again, not a waste of your time. It just should have been addressed then because you're just going to address it 6 months from now and it's going to be a bigger fucking argument. See what I'm saying? That's how this shit works. So I'm actually going to grab that deck and throw another card. That one was the gift. I'll read it to you. And I knew it was like you had to be so fragile within that read. And again, I didn't know how to break it down. And now that I had her conversation and I'm seeing something go down on my end, it makes complete fucking sense. So I think if you're dealing with that, your best thing right now would be to not pry. Okay, you don't want to pry in a situation like this. You want to wait until somebody's ready to talk about it. You don't want to dismiss it because if things are going to be left up in the air right now, that's going to cause somebody to think they're not good enough, or you don't want to be with them, or you don't trust them enough, or you know what I'm saying? So it's really important. It's really important right now to have patience. And that's been coming out in the reads too, right? So I remember picking up this card and it was the gift. And I remember her holding like a bakery box, but it could be right here. It can be any box per se, right? And I'll read it to you because this is what this is. So patience is needed. You don't want to ignore it, but you don't want to press it. It's going to be a very challenging time, and that's been coming up in the reads the last couple weeks, like a challenge, you know? So the gift, because look how she's like, her fingers are like this holding ribbon. Like it could slip off at any moment. You know what I'm saying? So it says, under the snowy sky, a woman with a feather holds a little box. What's in that box? Do we know for sure? But it seems to be a gift. Simple on the outside, but perhaps magical within. We can only imagine what could happen if we can tug on the string and peer inside. Would it be fulfillment of an old wish? Remember the curiosity before opening the present, the magical space between the dreams and the truth. A gift reminds us of excitement that we have in these special moments. Okay? So, and it was more than this. It was what flowers came into that read? Pansies? I think it was pansies, right? And that was all about being delicate. This is important too. It's 11:11 right now. It's 11:11. 11:11. I want to say it was pansies. Spiritual meaning of a pansy. They symbolize love. Pansies are used to symbolize loving feelings. Pansies can also represent free thinking and consideration. Often used for a get well flower, pansies can show that you can sympathize with somebody during pain and distress. 100% fucking hands down, the people in my life right now are going through pain and distress. That's where the sympathy comes in. You don't coddle, okay? But if you're able to sympathize, this is now what you should be doing on your end. These flowers all represent the birth of flowers in the month of February, and that kept coming in too. Okay. So it's all about love, this flower. So, in its face, like a symbolic meaning, it's all about love. So many different ways, different kinds of love. Okay. So, not everybody loves the same. Not everybody can communicate like we can. So, if you're in a situation right now, you have to know if compassion is the right move or not. Because right now, people in different situations where they have to block and set boundaries, and other people need to kind of sympathize with the situation, see both sides of a situation. This is why I said to you, I didn't quite know what all of this meant. It's now all coming in. Okay. So it's, are you going to let your ego get in the way of being a bigger person and setting something aside and helping somebody out? Or you're gonna be like, "Oh, I tried to do this already and it didn't work." See what I'm saying? So when I was literally talking to her the other day, I'm like, "Do you mind if I use your story as a prime example?" I said, "Honestly, you can." She's like, "I don't know what to do about this." She's like, "Sure, I don't know what to do about the situation." I said, "Why don't you just send him a link to my video?" Honestly, because it's hard to talk about and it's hard to put together and it's hard to even wrap your head around what just happened. Like, I'm not taking his side or her side, but how do you think he's wrapping his head around that? He's probably humiliated, demeanored. Like, could you imagine how he feels right now inside? So if he's at a low and it's a subconscious low and he doesn't know how to explain it, how do you think he feels? I know she's just as hurt, but I know you guys can relate to this because now I can relate to my situation based on their situation, based on the read I did. So I can't stress enough. Exactly. Don't kick people when they're down. Right. But a lot of us aren't aware that people are down. Right. So I guess you would have to know your story to like where you're supposed to be right now with somebody. Cause like, all right, well, court's saying this and this. You know what I'm saying? You have to know where you're at. in order to be that person. Because for us right now to sympathize is a struggle for us. And I don't think they realize it's a struggle for us to watch them doubt themselves. I think right now they're just thankful that we're in their lives. But I don't want to call it damage, but I don't think they realize what it takes to be there for somebody in a situation like this either. I don't think they get that yet. And they will. They will when they push through. But can you push through when they can't see how much you're sacrificing? That's where women battle their ego. It's fucking tough, guys. And communication is key, but some people only would communicate so much. And for real, we get to the point where I think we were already at a point with certain people, and it's like, all right, now you want me to go back in, say that again, right? No shit. I don't think I can say it again. I know I say wicked fucking smart shit sometimes, don't I? I gotta write this shit down. But it's fucking tough. So I don't I don't know. But I just know it's everything's coming together within the cards and the reads and the pansies and all that stuff. And I can take one story that sounds brutal and her story that sounds brutal too. But how like could you imagine his pride? You just smacked him in his face. You straight up humiliated him. He's going to go through anger, sorrow, confusion. He's not going to know how to put that together. It needs to be talked about. And it doesn't need to be expansive, but it needs to be addressed. So when somebody sees something kind of playing out a similar way, you can be like, hey, remember the time we talked about this? Like, let's not go there again, you know? So, and it's the way she felt, guys, right? And I know it's wrong. And I don't want to justify Mercury. She hasn't put her hands on nobody in probably 20 years. It's not something she like does. She doesn't just battle boyfriends and smack up. You know what I'm saying? It was like random, and it brought her back to a painful situation. It's how she handles pain. This chick went through therapy for years to handle pain, to not put her hands on people, to handle pain a different way. So this is not easy for her either. So now the two of them are battling two different things, and they're probably not even coming together and talking about it. That's why right now, someone has to put their pride and ego aside and be there for someone else. And that's when the ego comes in with the feminine, and that's when the ego comes in with the masculine. Someone has to sympathize. And I think it's the women, and I hate to say it, we are a little stronger. Hate to say it, but according to the reads, okay, this is where women had to take a different approach. This is where the women, the feminine, had to really go in. What do you want? You following your soul? Can your soul handle this? Like, Can you change your perspective? Can you break something down a different way? Can you be compassionate without being judgmental? Can you set aside your feelings to be there for somebody that needs you? So basically, if there's two people, whether you're a masculine or you're a feminine, whoever's the one going through like the most distraught, the other person has to step their game up right now. And that's fucking life. And eventually they're going to acknowledge you for that. And one day when you're down, they will have you. They will reciprocate. And I know it's a risk. This is why I'm here, apparently, because I'm really good at teaching shit. I had no idea I was really good at teaching. And I got to follow my own shit sometimes, too. That's not easy either. It's so much easier to be like, fuck this, I'm out. It's never going to work. He said this. And then I can take what he said and turn it into 20 different things when he probably didn't even mean it the way I took it. And again, miscommunication, but don't want to bring up a situation when you're down in the dirt and make it about me. So meanwhile, I don't think they realize how much we're physically and emotionally sacrificing ourselves to get somebody to a better place. It's a lot of fucking work, man. Actions need to follow the words. Jen, I get it. And you're right. But I also think we can't expect that right off the bat. We need expectations, and that's a book. But that's right. So if you know they're trying and they're opening up and they're talking to you, are you going to go back into the same pattern of, if I don't see and I don't hear what I want to hear, are you going to go into the same pattern of, fuck that? Because us women have to stop the same pattern too. Am I breaking up? Can you hear me? Jen, are you the only one that didn't hear me? And I was addressing you. Wow, that's weird. Okay, I'm going to try again. Jen wrote, wow, okay, not that one. Actions need to follow words, okay? Am I breaking up right now? A lot of you heard me loud and clear. So the ones that are, I don't know if it's not meant for you to hear. That doesn't make much sense. But am I nice and clear right now? Okay. No. I'm good? Okay. I'm going to go back and say it again. Okay. And this is where I think we don't want to do it. And it makes perfect sense. Jen said, actions need to follow the words. Okay. I said, we're all in a certain place where right now, with what we've dealt with, we want action. Actions need to follow the words for sure. But this is what it means to sympathize. Right now, when somebody's down in certain situations, it's all right. So it's not going to come out the same. So you're probably going to have to go back and watch it because now I figured exactly what I said. But actions need to follow. Yes, actions need to follow. But right now, if somebody's down and they're hurting, then it's like, I don't want to say you can't expect them. You're going to have to go back. Honestly, it's like I can't even remember and I can't even think. Like it just got taken from me. So I don't know if some people are meant to hear that or not, which makes no sense because I'm teaching. I think some people weren't meant to like hear certain stuff, which is strange. So it's like if you're ready to hear it, it's like you're ready to hear it and kind of like, okay, I get it. Cause now I fucking completely forget what I was saying. And that only happens when shit's supposed to go down like that. So maybe if you hear it afterwards, picked up on what I was saying the right way in the midst of it, maybe you needed to sit back, go back and listen and be like, okay, now I get what she's saying. So technically, we're 57 minutes in, right? And she wrote that at, oh, there's no time. I don't have a time on it. That stinks. I was hoping I could find one. So go back like a minute or so. Because other people fucking heard that loud and clear. And they were like, holy shit, say that again. But they meant it as like certain things like, holy shit. Like, it's one of those things where it's like I said the other day, like, they're not crying over the loss. They're crying because they lost. And that's tough because you got one individual crying over the loss, and you have the other one where their heart was never really in it like that. And they're crying because they physically fucking lost. See what I'm saying? So the fact that I couldn't remember exactly what I said, it's like maybe you're just meant to hear it later on where you can absorb it in a different spirit. Probably wouldn't have wanted that one to go one in one ear and out the other, because basically I was saying like, again, I can't even think. It's like I would say it a different way. It's so fucking weird. It really is so freaking bizarre. Probably about a half hour. Because I almost just wanted to break it down for you again. And again, it's like it won't come out the right way again. Because we don't want to justify them not taking actions. We were talking about battling the ego with a man and a female. But this is where like the woman or the man needs to break down that ego, because right now, when a man is down or a woman, they can't take action. It was something like that. You know what I'm saying? So, yes, it's like repeating a pattern because we expect to see more. We expect more in certain situations. When somebody is at their lowest, you can't expect from them. So that's when you need to break down your ego, and you're either going to step in and be there for them or you're not. The choice is yours. So I'm gonna throw y'all one of these cards. I got kids hitting me up. I gotta jump in the shower. I gotta put chili in a bowl. But I know this video will hit a lot of people. Okay, it was at 11:21, and it was from like Gen 26. Gen, not 26, Gen 70. Not just Gen, it was Gen 76, I believe. So, and I'm not saying you're not meant to hear it, Jen. I'm saying maybe it would have went in one ear and out the other in the moment, and maybe you're just meant to hear it if the video is done and you go back and you're like, oh, damn, I get it. That's a thing too. Okay, so I do feel like this video was really important. And the one before that for almost 2 hours was just as important. Because this is what we're dealing with. And if you're not aware of it, it's going down behind your back because somebody doesn't know how to talk to you or somebody doesn't want to talk about it. It's DACA energy. This shit is going down. That's why spirit's like, you got to sacrifice your time and energy. Some people, that's huge for me. Some people will be like, that ain't nothing. No, that shit's huge because they don't understand how painful it is for us to have their back when they're down because their pain has to do with someone else. And you've been sitting in pain because it's, it's not you guys' pain. Does that make sense? You know what I'm saying? I don't think they get it. It's like you love someone so much and it's like right now when they're down, they don't understand the sacrifice you're making. I guarantee they probably like, I appreciate you. You're such a good friend. Like, I really appreciate you. But they don't get the extent because in the inside, it's killing us that they're crying or over someone else when you've been in the picture. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's hurtful, but they're not trying to hurt us. This is when you have to set your ego aside, and if that person needs you, you be there for them. And even if it doesn't pan out in the end, you did something right on your end. So it's not one of those things where it's like going cautiously because it's Mercury. No, you're either going to be there for that person or not. And hopefully down the road, this person will realize what you sacrificed to help somebody push through something that is life changing. We need people in our lives like that to see things through. Because if they don't have you, because if you can be that person, but you choose not to, some people take their lives, and I'm not saying that comes back on you. You have to do what's best for you. This is where the women have to put aside their ego, and the men need to put aside their ego and communicate with you and somewhat share what's happening so that way you're both kind of receiving. You don't need all the answers. You don't need to pry. But the women have to let their guard down a little bit. Got to let go of the ego a little bit. And the men have to open up a little bit. And if shit's flowing like that for you, see it through. Because it won't come back and bite you in the ass. And maybe there's a lesson in there for you. Erica writes, no thanks, I'm good. And then maybe the person that you're no thanks, I'm good is karmic. and you're making the right decision. You have to know where you stand. Don't be misled. Don't be foolish either. But for those who have been following my read for weeks, you can totally relate to what I'm saying. So again, go watch the video that's postmark fragile handle with care. And then I believe it's Mercury at its finest. I'm just going to double check real quick on YouTube. Yeah. The older wish, the fragile one, next 7 days. And the other one was just a continuation of some of the things that are going down on the masculine's end. I'm not saying coddle or, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to know where you're at. You're right. Yeah. So if it's comic, you fucking let that shit go and you take care of yourself and you heal. Again, you got to know where you're at. That comic shit, let it go. Let it go. Cry it out. Go, like, let it go. Put boundaries up. Go in a new direction. It's your only way out. Because what's been going down for months on the board, it wasn't meant to be. You weren't meant to be in that scenario. It's time to walk a new path. Your intuition's been telling you, and you've been fighting it. For those that are in karmic situations, it's coming to an end. So, after this discussion we've had for the last hour, here's your message for today. Bless you. That startled me. That's weird, right? All she did was sneeze. So I'm not saying like be submissive and you gotta know your story. Oh, there was something in there that already flipped. Tiny triumphs. I just gotta know if I should take that. Okay, treasured memories. That's pulling me right to the past. And it's fucking Mercury. Nostalgia, memories, and recognition. We see a woman sitting calmly in the grass. She looks forward to somewhere, but we don't know where. While her mind is drifting in the past, with both hands she is holding a floating balloon with the clouds. The clouds are old memories that she wants to keep and treasure. Our past experience don't define us. We can't keep our past experiences don't define us. We can't live the life we had a long time ago, but the past does shape us. And embraces of loved ones and joyful times can help us be our best selves today. I knew this had to do with the past. So whether you're a woman or a man, okay, this deck is women. But it's okay. You don't ever take those memories, right? You take the memories, you treasure them, but you got to move forward. Okay? So this woman, calmly in the grass, she looks forward to somewhere where she doesn't know where it's leading, while her mind is drifting in the past. Both hands she is holding floating a balloon above with a cloud in it. These clouds are old memories that she wants to keep and treasure. Our past experience do not define now. We can't live the life we want from holding on to past memories, but the past does shape us. We grow and we learn and we evolve. We embrace the ones around us that love us now, the joyful times that help us become our best selves today. So you don't let go of the memories. You got to start living in the present moment. The people around you, the people supporting you, the people that are there for you, becoming a better person. The past does not shape you. So those who are like depressed in certain situations, the past does not shape you. Get what I'm saying? There's a lot going on between all these reads because this pulls me to guilt. Because could you imagine what it's like to feel the guilt and going through a breakup and certain things, and you have the past and you have this and the guilt of becoming a better person and knowing that you have to leave the past behind you? There's so much guilt there. Why wasn't I able to pull this off and be a better mother? Why wasn't I able to pull this off and be a better father? Why wasn't I able to pull this off and work harder? You know what I'm saying? Because those are the ones that deserved it, right? But you didn't do it then. There's a reason for it because you weren't meant to do certain stuff till you get to a certain point of life so you can really change your perspective, and from here start changing what you couldn't change before. You couldn't change it before because of ego. You couldn't change it before because you were stuck in beliefs. You wouldn't change it before because you wouldn't accept change. See what I'm saying? So don't feel guilty because your children, your friends, your family are going to benefit by you moving forward. Because there's hundreds and thousands of people right now that are feeling so much guilt about why couldn't I have done it then? Why couldn't I have been better then? Why do I need to be a better person now? Somebody new comes into somebody's life. Oh, now you're a better person because you're with someone else? Maybe it took that person to come into someone's life and to reshape something so they can be a better person. Or the alternative is not accept change, settle, and never fix anything. So if you ask me, the alternative sucks. Don't let someone make you feel guilty just because it didn't work with them. Yeah, it's a lot to suck up. It's a lot to deal with. But the past doesn't shape you. You can't move forward and feel guilt. And if someone's guilt tripping you, that sucks. We're just not meant to do certain things with certain people, but we're meant to experience every experience we have. Within those experiences, help us grow and evolve. It's just not always the person you think it's going to be with, and it sucks. And that other person that's not dealing with it, that's still in denial, and the other one's trying to deal with it, his or her time will come later. And then they'll realize, like, shit, I'm so grateful I was able to move forward too. Because when somebody else comes into your life and makes you a better person, how about you be thankful for that? Because I would love for someone to come in my life and be like, wow, I'm better when I'm with you. Like, I'm good on my own, but like I'm happy when I'm with you. Like, baby girl, you make me better. You know what I mean? Like, love me, independent, confident, but when I'm with somebody and I can smile, I want you around. If somebody can't understand that feeling on the outside, it's not my problem. I'm not trying to hurt anybody. I'm not trying to like do this or do that. You have to live your life, and especially if there's children involved. You're going to choose not to change, or you're going to accept what's going down. People come into each other's lives for a reason, break shit up, move on, go in a different direction. So a lesson's learned so you can be the person you need to be for who you need to be that person for. Sometimes when you're in the same situation with certain people, you can't be that person. And now people are realizing the lack of the support and the lack of love that they thought was really there. It was only there temporarily, because somebody didn't want somebody else to be there. It's a lot. It's a lot. But don't let guilt stop you. Like, nobody will ever benefit if you don't allow change. We've been in energy for the last year of people not accepting freaking change. And it's tough. It's tough because it's a struggle. There was love, but there was only love. There was only it was one loved more than the other. That shit don't work. And now the blame game's floating around in the air in this confusion. And it's like, stop. You're gonna be tested. Don't let people like no, start standing up for yourself. Put your foot down. Put up those barriers. Let it fucking crumble. So eventually, you guys can figure out where you're meant to be. But it's not gonna be a situation that something's gonna grow and you can be happy go lucky and not change jack shit. That's not gonna work. And for that, all the assholes out there making other people feel guilty, it's like karma will get you. Spirit sees everything. Why somebody else was blind. When you become that better person, you don't have to leave that person, especially if you have children. Eventually, you guys sit down and talk about the dynamics when the storm is over, and you go into a situation and learn how to co-parent in a different way. You don't leave the other person out because somebody else came in. I had to experience that, but I also had to experience that in different situations so that doesn't happen to other people. I would never want that to happen with the person I'm dealing with now. I would never want them to not be able to co-parent and hang out again. But you got to let the shit fucking crash. It's the only way to ever get back to a friendship or co-parenting or whatever you make it. I want those dinners where the ex-husbands and the ex-wives and their new loved ones were all sitting around chilling, drinking, kids are getting older, grandkids. I want that life. I don't want me and you against the world. Me and you against the world, it's not a fucking thing, people. And I hate to burst your fucking bubble. One of my best friends, Ashley, says it all the time. Me and you against the world. No. That's sheltering each other. That's damaging. I want it all. I want the golden ticket. I want it all, and I want it done the right way. And I will make sure if that person wants my help, I will make sure it's done the right way. And it's going to take time. And it might be painful. But you will have what you want in the end if you make the right move. And every move has a consequence. Every choice has a consequence, whether you like it or not. It can be a good consequence. It can be a really shitty consequence. That's why it's so important to do what is best for you at the end of the day. Even if you need to suck up that pain, you tell yourself a year from now, we will be in a different place. We'll be able to be friends. You'll be able to come over for cookouts. And if that other person can't be a bigger person either and do that for the children's sake or whatever it may be, then that person won't grow. And it's not your problem. You be who you can be for who you have to be that person for. Stop thinking, I have to co-parent. No, you have to fucking take care of yourself. Then you do what you can do. And it's not always going to work out the way you want it to. Some people are not meant to be in your life, and others will pull through. And a year from now, you'll all be sitting around shooting the shit. You don't know. But if you do the right thing and make the best move for you, and that person really does love you and wants a family unit or whatever your case may be, that shit will work out. Just do what's best for you at the end of the day. I can't stress it enough. I love you guys. I'm gonna go lunch, play mom, do drop offs, and be there for somebody who knows they need you right now, especially my feminine. It's tough. It's tough because they don't know, they don't understand the pain that you're going through, watching them go through pain. And it's not about their pain right now. Like it is, how do I want to explain that? Like it's about their pain, but they don't understand the pain is causing you because you got love for them. And it's not their pain. See, I'm saying it again. Like it's you're not in pain because they're going through pain. You're in pain because it's painful for you, but yet you're still having their back and supporting them because it's the fucking way it's supposed to go. And that's fucking facts. So the women do gotta let their guard down. You do gotta sympathize a little bit. You do need a different approach. And spirit is asking you to sacrifice. Even if they don't see it right now. And they will. And when they see it and they feel it, it's just gonna deepen you guys' bond. Because one day you might need that in return, and that person will be there for you. Remember, you gotta know your story. If it's karmic, that's the one that's gotta go. Right now, you work on you. And that's where that advice kicks in. Is if you have someone, is going through a karmic situation, be there for them. Don't try to convince them to fix the family dynamic. Worst thing you can do. They can't fix that until they fix themselves. And the only way to fix themselves is for them to let shit crash down and for you to be that helping hand and a listening ear, all that stuff that comes along with really being there generally and genuinely for someone, And it's not easy. It's a big sacrifice on the feminine end right now because it's causing you pain. And it's not because of their pain. You're making a big sacrifice. And you can't lose. It doesn't mean you get the person in the end, or maybe you will. But you still can't lose because you're helping somebody. If you have someone in your life right now that needs help, fucking help. Put your pride and your ego aside because women carry it just as much as men. And right now, they're having a hard time doing that. They're trying. Okay? Just do what's best for you. You got to know whose story's who. But for those who can relate to that, that's what's happening. Even if my ex hit me up and this and that, and I'm like, oh, fuck. You know what? Maybe he's having a really bad day. So maybe I shouldn't go off on him. I don't know. I don't know everybody's dynamics. You know what I mean? That's why I'm saying you got to know. And I'm not saying everyone that you come across, you need to be sweet. You know what I'm saying? Like you would know this scenario if it's for you. And if it just hasn't hit you yet, it's just because a friend didn't reach out. Or how do you know someone from your past that you haven't talked to in 10 years doesn't hit you up and be like, hey, and you're like, oh yeah, fuck that. I remember that. You screwed me over. How do you know they're not waiting for just a high so they can be like, I really want to apologize for what happened for 10 years ago. But you didn't give them that opportunity because what you did was jump down their throat because of something that happened 10 years ago. How do you know within that 10 years that they haven't gone through a major transformation? And I'm not saying give everyone the benefit of the doubt. I'm just saying we don't know everybody's scenario. I'm not saying be naive and just put a smile on everyone's face. I'm not that person. You know I'm not that person. Maybe have a little bit of a conversation. See where it goes. If you know it's a conversation and it's going like, hey, I remember the smell of your coochie. Fucking see you later. You want to be fucking stupid. You know what I'm saying? But If somebody's just like, how you been? How's work? Entertain it for a little while. See where it goes. You never know how if that person truly needed you. And that's the reality of the situation. Don't get taken advantage of. I'm not saying be optimistic with everybody. You know me. I'll be real quick to fucking fuck you. But right now, from the reads and the energy and the planets, I know it's the right thing to do. Not everybody that comes back from the past has good intentions, though. Because I think a lot of the karmics are going to get tested. You would never think they would want back, and then all of a sudden they feel that loss. Guess who wants your attention? You got to be real careful right now. That's why boundaries are so important. Don't think if you go in and be the nice guy and have compassion that it's going to work out for you. You're taking a risk. It could backfire and they could go back to their ex. But you know what? That would never work out anyway. And I'm not going to want to hear I'm sorry a year from now. You can only apologize after so many times and after so many years. At that point, it's like they had a major lesson to fucking learn. You know what I'm saying? Just got to know where you're at. Hope that helped. I don't know. Wallen, I don't know, you know? And there's a lot of boys in October. So just be aware of your own energy. That's all. Don't overgive, you know? And if you're getting hurt in a scenario that I just talked about, just, I'm not saying create space, but, because right now is not the time to tell that person you're hurting when they're hurting. Does that make sense? So don't overgive, don't undergive. Give what you can handle. And I guess give people the benefit of the doubt, and that's not easy when you've done that before. But if you see a little bit of effort and you know someone's hurting, you should probably give somebody a little bit of doubt. Give it a little bit of, you know what I mean? Like give someone the benefit of the doubt is what I'm trying to say. Because it's real easy to fucking doubt right now. Anywho, you know me, I can say it in so many different ways so it can hit so many different people. But I gotta go. I love you guys so much. We'll see you soon. Maybe I'll see you later. And I'll do a read. But when I do these talks, they're just as important. You know, a lot of people just want to see the cards. I get it. I get it. But I think the talks like hits home, you know? It's important to have those too. So, all right, y'all. I love you. Bye. You're welcome.